Okay, fight fans and fight fiends, welcome back to Manny's Thoughts. I, of course, Manny MTL or Manny Montreal. Make sure to check me out on thefightcity.com, Facebook, YouTube, and obviously Twitter. As usual, I'll give you guys my thoughts on what's going down in combat sports. Now, the end of February is going to be busy. However, the month of March is going to be madness. Now, let me explain. First off, this Friday night, 523 St. Anthony Street in Ottawa, Ontario. Big fight in Little Italy going down. Beaver Boxing Club presents a great amateur gala. 10 fights on the card, 20 bucks at the door. You cannot ask for a better Friday night. Now, that being said, this Saturday night, we are going to be calling this the Middleweight night. Why? Because basically all the middleweight champs are fighting. Now, that's not too hard because basically all you need is two guys to fight. First off, Berlin, Germany. King Arthur Abraham fights Smith again for the second time. Basically, it's a rematch based on the fact that Smith probably won the first decision but didn't get it. So they gave him the rematch. We'll see what happens with the WBO title. Now, speaking of the WBA, WBC, and IBO belts, my boy Triple G, Glenadine Golovkin, will be fighting Martin Murray. Now, Martin Murray is no slouch. It is a tough night for any fighter. Plus, he's got something to prove. He's fighting a guy like Triple G. He's not taking this lightly. Now, he's put other really tough fighters in really tough situations, and for the most part has fought guys that were already at the top of the plateau and not guys like Triple G climbing up. So is this too much for Triple G? A lot of people are not saying yes. However, the guys at the Fight City and me seem to think Martin Murray might be a little tougher than most think. Now, that being said, this leads me to all the other middleweights that are out there, because basically our middleweight, our champion, David Lemieux, is going to be looking for an opponent soon enough. I'm assuming once everything with Groupe Yvon Michel and Golden Boy settles. However, I want to point out there are names out there for Triple G to fight before David Lemieux, or even David Lemieux to fight before Triple G, even though David Lemieux just announced on his Twitter that he would love to fight Triple G. Now, let me point out a couple of, let's say, side fights he could have before fighting Triple G. He could fight Matthew Macklin, Daniel Gill. He could have a rematch against Rubio. He could fight the winner of Andy Lee, Peter Quinlan, which is going down in April. You got Willie Monroe. And, well, obviously, the most important one, Miguel Cotto. Now, Miguel Cotto leads me to my next subject. Where is Miguel Cotto? Last seen, he was supposed to maybe fight Mayweather on May the 2nd. However, all this other hoopla that's come along between Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather have made Miguel Cotto basically disappear. Now, no one's mentioned him, and he hasn't called out anyone else, so he's been quiet for the most part. Now, it'd be very cool to see him fight Triple G next. However, I don't see that happening. I think it's weird that we haven't heard anything from Cotto. However, I will point out something else, and this will lead me to my only Mayweather point, because I want to obviously stay away from that subject as much as humanly possible, because, well, if you look at my other videos, I think it's clear they're not going to fight until both guys are out of their contracts in 2016. However, I do think that all of this is a clear attempt to stoke the fires for this rematch, because basically before all this it's done stuff and everyone was reporting that the fight was happening this May, before that a lot of people were on my side of things and were starting to lean towards, well, you know what, I don't even care if the fight happens. So I believe this is just a ploy to get people worried and hot and bothered about it again, just to stoke the fires for possibly next year. So don't hold your breath. Again, don't hold your breath for May the 2nd. I know everyone's saying it, and I know there's some really reputable people saying it's going to happen. However, watch my other videos. Find it on thefightcity.com. You'll see what I'm saying. So that leads me to March Madness. More precisely, Manny's March Madness. All of March, I am going to have plenty of stuff to talk about, so I may as well get started right now. First off, March 6th, we've got ESPN2 welterweight Phil LaGreco from Toronto fighting, so support Canada, yay Phil. March 7th, we've got Keith Thurman versus Guerrero on NBC, no less. Also on the other card, Abner Maris and AB, Adrian Broner. That being said, March 13th, we've got Berto versus Lopez. That free and live on Spike. Then, in Montreal, no less, Rival MMA. MMA is back in Montreal. The sanctioning bodies just fixed what they had to fix. Guess what? It's because the UFC is coming in April. So, for the small period of time that the UFC will be here, and maybe sometime afterwards, MMA will be legal again in Montreal. Hit me up if you want more details on why that's such a clusterfuck. That being said, Rival MMA is going to have a card, and headlining that bad boy is none other than Montreal's most secretive monster, Amin Zahabi. Why do I say this? Because nobody knows this, but he is lurking in every shadow. This kid is a monster that other fighters have nightmares about. Whoever his opponent will be, I truly and utterly feel sorry for him. He is the only fighter where I've gone to watch fight and felt remorse and pain, sympathy even, for his opponent. The kid is just phenomenal. It is astounding to me that nobody else has picked up on this fact yet, but I think it will be pretty much a known fact in very short time, because, I mean, something like that is irrepressible. The kid's just phenomenal. I would equate it to him being on fire in the ring and the person not being able to touch him because he's too hot. Anyways, that being said, Amin Zahabi's fighting. We've got Leonard Terrence and Xavier Aloui. Now, Xavier is making his second fight. This is going to be number 2 for him. However, the reason I'm pointing him out is because I've gotten a chance to see this kid work at the Grant Brothers gym, and hands, boy, does this kid have hands. Everyone that trains out of that gym knows what they're doing. They put in some serious work at the Grant Brothers. Check him out. He's being trained by, I believe, Edwin Aguilar. Edwin's just a phenomenal boxing coach. He's been tuning up a lot of fighters. Oddly enough, this March, a few fighters of his are fighting. I digress, I'll keep going. March 14th, UFC 185, getting us ready right before they come to Montreal. Pettis versus Dos Anjos. That card's stacked too. I could spend 10 minutes on it. I will have plenty of time to do so. Then, also March 14th, the big one, Kovalev versus Pascal. On the undercard, Steve Cunningham, Dirigeant, Joel Diaz Jr., Kevin Lavallée, Yves Ulysses Jr., David Theroux, Bogdan Dinu. Now, who's Bogdan Dinu, Manny? Well, there's a reason I'm mentioning him. He's a heavyweight, he's Romanian, and he's got 12 wins with 8 KOs. Yep, you heard me. The kid's for real. He's not a heavy potato sack. He doesn't throw lazy punches. He's maybe one of the most active heavyweights I've seen in there. I'm looking forward for big things from this guy. Make sure you look into that card. Then, March 20th, TitanFc 33 is going down. Boston's own and Montreal trained Desmond Green, Toon Winan, is gonna be winning on and defending his title on March 20th for TitanFc. Now, he trains out of TriStar. If you haven't seen this kid fight yet, basically he's TitanFC's champ, and he's just something else. Just energy for days. Great hands on him again. Guess what? Edwin Aguilar, Grant Brothers. I'm definitely going to have to talk more about it. Just a phenomenal fighter. Just that next level fighter that everyone else is talking about. I'm very much looking forward to his fight. Then, we've got March 21st from Germany, Jürgen Bremer. Now, I'm maybe the only person that keeps saying this guy's name, Jürgen Bremer. It's actually kind of fun to say. However, the reason I keep mentioning Jürgen Bremer's name is because he's in basically everybody's top 5 for the light heavyweight division. And everyone keeps asking themselves, who's going to be Adonis's next opponent? Well, I say, why not Jürgen? Why do we gotta go deep into the 10s and 12s? Why can't we pick someone out of the top 5? Are you truly not our champion, Adonis? Fight Jürgen Bremer. Let him beat whoever he's beating on March 21st in Germany, and then challenge him. I say that's a beautiful fight. It's something to do. Meanwhile, you waiting for Pascal and Kovalev to settle their whatever stuff. March 27th. Big one from the Grant Brothers. Here we go on TSN and RDS. Also co-promoting out of Toronto at the Olympia Theatre. We're going to have a beautiful card. I'm really excited about this one. We got Renat Saint-Just, our Canadian champ, Francis Lafreniere, my boy, Tyson Cave. The man got robbed. I had a show all about it earlier. Make sure you look for it on thefightcity.com. Tyson Cave is going to be coming to Montreal. I hope we take care of this guy properly. Montrealers, show this guy some love. There is a true fighter that needs a chance. He is now ours. I'm adopting him to Montreal. Screw ESPN in the States. Let's just make a big splash here. Now, that being said, we've also got standout Eric Bazinian fighting 7-0. This kid's going to be trying to make it 8. Make sure you look for him. Also on the card, Golden Garcia, who's 2-0, going to be trying to make it 3. Now, Golden's Mexican fighter from Montreal. I really like his style. Dare I say it, Mexican style. And then, last but not least, we've got my boy Dwayne Diamond Durrell making his pro boxing debut. Now, ordinarily I'd be a little nervous for this guy. However, he's had plenty of pro Thai fights, so I'm not too worried about him. Plus, I've seen him in the ring, and well, I digress. I am going to have specials on all these subjects. I am going to tear through it over the next couple of weeks. Make sure you tune in every Monday to the Fight City and get my next episode. Subscribe, like, share. The only way I keep doing this is if you help me out. Hope I'm doing a good job. If you think I'm an ass, go ahead and write to me anyway. I love those too. That being said, we close out the month of March with Logan McGuinness. There's no other news on him, on where and when, but I know he's going to be fighting at the end of March. So that's it for me this week. Make sure you tune into my other shows, and I'll see you guys next week.